Angels, I look tanned. I'm looking in the viewfinder at the moment and I do look very brown, don't I? Just got back from Jamaica, HUNS, so this is all real. We are living the dream. You know, when you get back off holiday, you're like, is my tan gonna fade? You get on the plane and you're like, tan's faded, it's gone. Hello honeys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're just joining me now, then my name is Imogen, and today, you could probably see from the title, but oh, if you're new here, then please subscribe. I'd be so grateful. Join my family because I have so many more story times up my little sleeves, which are actually really cute. Cute top, isn't it? So make sure you subscribe and join my family of HUNS because I believe we have the most loving family on the internet, and I am so beyond grateful for all of you. And that leads me on to my next point about this video. So this is failed friendships, the aftermath. Dun, dun. This is an update on how everything ended and how everything fizzled out from what happened in the last couple of story times. So what I want to say is, just before I begin, is that I am so beyond grateful for the level of support on these story times. Like, I put this out there a bit nervous because I thought I am really exposing a friend that really screwed me over, and it's not something I'm proud of. It's not something which I'm like, yes, I had a friend that treated me like rubbish. But I wanted to make these videos for all of us to be able to empathize with each other, and for everyone to know that it's not just me that goes through this, it's not just you that goes through this, every single girl. And if you haven't, congratulations. I'm very jealous that you haven't had a bad friend, but for anyone that's been through a bad friendship, a bad relationship, then I feel like these videos were made for all of you, to show you that you're not alone, and that eventually you get out of it, and eventually whatever happens, you get to a point where you're like, it doesn't affect you anymore. Not gonna lie about it, it still upsets me about what that girl did to me. I wouldn't be human if I didn't get upset about someone hurting me. And a lost friendship is one of the worst pains I think you can go through with a loss, because you believe that friend will be in your life forever and you see them as a family member. And if you're anything like me, then I love someone. When I love someone, I really love that person. So I just wanted to say thank you so much to every single person who's even watched these videos. But I can't even imagine that anyone would even watch me, let alone a story time, let alone even stay wanting to watch this story time series. But if you do stay tuned to the end, I have a very exciting announcement about my next storytime series, which has a lot more parts than this one. I think that one has like 9 parts, so buckle up and get ready for the end, because I'm going to tell you my new storytime series. Thank you so much again for every single person who watched. If you haven't watched all of them, I will link them all down below and you can go and watch them, but this is the aftermath. So without further ado, let's start the video. As you can probably imagine, after I threw Laura out, everything of her stuff was gone from my house, and I did not hear from that girl for months, maybe a good year before I heard anything from her. And don't worry about it, I hear from her, alright? I really hear from her. Yeah, she comes running back, loving life. But I know this sounds really silly, but after what she did to me, I felt so hurt that she didn't come back. Like, does that sound really silly? But you know, when you have a boyfriend and you break up with them, or they break up with you, and you think, and everyone's telling you they're going to realise in 3 weeks that they love you and they're going to come running back, and when they don't, it's that harsh realisation, like, did she actually care about our friendship at all? In the slightest? Probably not. Probably not. Although later on I do actually realise that. I don't know, I'll explain it as we go on. But I do hear from her. Yeah, I do. Where do I even begin? She became best friends with the girl who beat me up. So my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend was now my old best friend's best friend. They were best friends. They were best friends. They went on holiday together. But it just doesn't stop there. If you watch my first one, which was the failed friendships backstory, I mentioned a friend in there called Ashley, and Ashley was also another best friend of mine before Laura became my everything. And Ashley was a good friend of mine for about 5-6 years, and I will thank Ashley for a lot of things, because when I was being bullied, Ashley did really help me. I went to different schools, but having Ashley in my life really helped me gain confidence and self-esteem again. And I'm not regretful of our friendship in the slightest. I don't look back and think it was a sad one, but I am sad about the fact that the girl who beat me up, who was my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, became best friends with all of my old best friends, not just Laura, our whole friendship group was now the girl who destroyed my friendship, was constantly spreading rumours about my relationship, made my relationship so beyond difficult it was a joke, and now they're all best friends with her. Can you imagine? I was like, it was the ultimate betrayal for me because I felt like I'd lost. I know this sounds so silly, but you don't ever want your ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend to be involved in your life. But I had to be involved in their life because they had a child together. But now she was best friends with all my old best friends. My old best friends, which knew all my family, my ex-best friend Laura, who knew everything, like the ins and outs of drama that had happened in my family, things I'd gone through, my parents' divorce. She knew everything. So now all I'm thinking is, the girl who hates me, who despises me, has so much ammunition on me, and she knew so much about my family, and she used it against me because she'd say to my boyfriend, I don't want her around, you know, my kid, and she'd say all these things. It just was so difficult. And I'm not going to lie to you here, I stalked them. I became, for the first sort of 9 months to a year of them being best friends, I was obsessive. And that's me being completely honest. I felt as though I wanted to look at their Instagram, I wanted to look at their Facebook, so I thought, are they that close? Like, and I know this is me being completely honest with you, and I am really very honest with you about my feelings. I kind of hoped that they wouldn't be friends anymore, because then I would know that it wasn't worth it, and that Laura and Ashley and everyone preferred me as a person, not this person that beat me up and tried to ruin my relationship and trying to ruin, you know, a lot of my teenage life. But they stayed friends for a very long time, and some of my friendship groups are still even friends with her now. Laura and Ashley, funnily enough, aren't friends with the girl who beat me up. And I felt as though the girl who did all those things to me, she did that on purpose. Well, I know she did that on purpose because she wanted to grab everything she could from me. I had her ex-boyfriend, so she wanted everything she could from me. She made it so that I had no one. When I went out clubbing, if I went out clubbing, I had no friends. I didn't have any friends. And that's maybe why now, I mean, obviously I'm so grateful because I have all of you, but in my life I have 3 close friends that I actually see. That's it. And I probably only see 2 of them regularly. And it's not even that regularly, because it's really difficult to fit into everyone's schedule, and I understand that they live in London and some of them live, you know, it's just difficult. So my best friends are my whole world, and I love them with all my heart, and I love all of you with all my heart. But at the time I had no one. I was a complete loner, and that's maybe why I was so dependent of my boyfriend at the time, because I had no one. So getting into Laura eventually speaking to me. So this is where it gets all a little bit complicated. Ashley, the girl that I mentioned at the beginning, who was a year above me, she ended up going out with my ex-boyfriend, my boyfriend at the time's best friend. My ex-boyfriend's best friend of like 12 years. So they became best friends. So I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe me and Ashley will become friends again. No. Oh, hell no. Because my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend made it so difficult because she told Ashley she should never be around me, and Ashley didn't like me. Ashley didn't like me anymore. My best friend, bearing in mind, my family was best friends with Ashley's family when we were best friends. Like, we used to take her on holiday, they used to take me on holiday. I was around there every single day. That girl was inseparable with me before I became really close with Laura. And she started doing drugs and sort of going in a different way, and we were just different people, so we did distance. So she was going out with his best friend, which made it even more awkward, because then they would all go on nights out, and in my head I'm thinking, is she going to be there? Like, I had to deal with the fact that he had to see her for his kid anyway, and no one really wants their ex-boyfriend, their boyfriend at the time, no one really wants their boyfriend to be involved with their ex-girlfriend, do they? Like, let's be real, like, hun to hun, no one wants the ex-girlfriend on the scene, do you know what I mean? Bearing in mind they had a kid together, so she had to be on the scene. But now I'm thinking they're gonna go on nights out because the best friend of him is, oh, it's just all a bit, it's all a bit F-U-C-K'd up. Anyway, my ex-boyfriend, about 10 months after the whole Laura incident, when I heard nothing from her, he went on a night out and Laura was out. because obviously Ashley was going out with his best friend. And Laura cried hysterically, bearing in mind the girl that beat me up, his ex-girlfriend, wasn't out. Sorry if this is getting really confusing, but she wasn't out. So Laura was hysterically crying to my boyfriend at the time. And she was saying, I am the worst friend. I let Imogen down. I'll never forgive myself for what I did. How is she? I love her so much. She was the best friend I've ever had. I'll never have a friend like her again. I absolutely screwed her over. She was crying her eyes out, saying, please tell her that I love her. I'll always love her. I'll never forgive myself for what I did. All these things. And my boyfriend at the time was very loyal. Very loyal. One thing that I completely stand by him for was his loyalty. He did not let anyone say a bad word about me at all. At all. Like, if someone started on me or if someone was horrible to me, he was there. He didn't care who they were, he was there. So he wasn't having any of it. He was like, she wants nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with you. I think you're a terrible human being. You broke her heart. You destroyed her as a person. Everything you did is the most malicious, disgusting, vile. It is the most evil thing that anyone can do to someone, let alone best friends, let alone someone you live with. She took you in. She looked after you. She was a good friend to you. She was a best friend to you. And he just went in on her. And I was like, thank you very much, hon. My top is just undone. Thank you. I will be doing that up. Thank God the camera is there and not there. That would have been a story time. Anyway, so thank you for him sticking up for me. Loved that. He came home and told me about it because we were living together at the time, and it did really mess me up. It did really mess me up because at that point I didn't really have a friend. And it broke me because I thought I got to a point where I was like, right, I'm over it, kinda. And I hadn't heard from her, so it made it a bit easier probably. And then when I heard that, I just broke down and I was like, the fact that she's saying all this, but she's never tried to contact me. See, it still affects me now. It does still affect me. I can still cry about it because obviously I'm a human and I have a heart. And I pride myself on having a big heart. And obviously it hurts. It hurts that she'd say all that to my boyfriend, but she'd never said it to me. And it hurt that she knew what she'd done. I used to think like maybe it made it easier if she just was delusional and she did all these things and she didn't have any remorse, but she did, evidently. But was she crying out of guilt, or was she crying out of the fact that she lost me, or was she crying out of the fact that she thinks she had to cry because of what she did? I will never know. I will never know. Sorry. So then months went past and I never heard anything, and I didn't get in contact with her, and I never saw her. Never saw her. Never saw her once until about 6 months later to that incident, and I saw her in a club, and I thought, you know, she'd cried to my boyfriend. I thought time had passed, and I thought if she'd seen me it might be different and whatever. She acted as if I wasn't there, firstly, and my boyfriend was with me. I went out with my boyfriend. She was out with his ex-girlfriend, and he called her up on it and went over to her and was like, you're acting as if Imogen is even here. Last time I saw you, Laura, you were crying your eyes out telling me you'd been a rubbish mate, so you should probably be saying it to her. Well, she denied it all. Denied it all because the girl who beat me up was there, his ex-girlfriend was there. Denied it all. Absolutely denied it. Was like, I never said that to you. I never said anything about her. I don't want to know her. Like, she's rubbish. I don't remember too much of what she was saying, but she was slagging me off to the high heavens. So my boyfriend came and grabbed me and was like, we need to go before I kick off. And I was like, okay. Didn't really know what happened, but he told me in the taxi home that she denied it all, that she'd spoken to him. He was like, am I going crazy? Like, I know she said that. Anyway, so that hurt even more because I thought, she's that embarrassed to be my friend. Like, she was my best friend for years, and she's all of a sudden taken this girl's side, and this girl is now her new Bezzy mate, but she beat me up and she did all these things to me. But cool, that's what you want to be, your best friend. Sweet, thanks hun, thanks very much babes. So then about, I would say 2 weeks passed from that time, and I always had my phone on loud in case my boyfriend got locked out, in case he was staying out. I was just a warrior. I still am. I always leave my phone on loud underneath my pillow at night so I can hear, not the pillow I lie on, but so I can hear if something's happened, because I worry. I do worry. So anyway, my phone is on loud, and I got 17 Bearing in mind, apparently I'm in such a deep sleep, I'm not waking up. I got 17 missed calls. I got 17 missed calls and I woke up on the 18th. That phone being on loud isn't helping anyone, is it, babes? If anyone needed me, geez Louise, she's out for the count. But picked up on the 18th and it was a random number. I thought maybe my boyfriend's lost his phone. I don't know, I was worried. So I was like, hello. And this was at about 3:43 in the morning, I'm gonna say, because I think the missed calls were like 3:30 and then they just kept going onwards. I don't remember, but I know it was near to 4 o'clock. Bit precise there, Imogen. Are you all right? So then I pick up and it's Laura. She's crying her eyes out. Crying her eyes out. And she's on the phone and she's like, Imogen, I made a massive mistake. I thought, oh my, this is the phone call I think I'd been waiting for. I know this sounds really bad, but I prayed that she would eventually one day call me and apologise and seem remorseful at least, because then it would make me feel a little bit better about what she'd done. Anyway, this phone call wasn't about her apologising to me. No. So I tried to calm her down. I was like, calm down, Laura. Like, what's up, Laura? I was like, just chill out. Like, I'm here. Like, calm down, because I can't understand what you're saying. Bearing in mind, this girl had done everything to me, and there's Imogen still, like, trying to look after her. But that's who I am as a person, and I don't think I will ever change who I am. I can stand up for myself, and I know my limits now, and I know I would never have her as a friend again. But I loved her for a very long time in my life, and she called me, and she needed me. And even if I couldn't stand her, I would never put the phone down, because I just wouldn't be able to live with that myself. That's just not who I am. It's extremely hot in here, not gonna lie to you. Sweating me tits off, mate. Oh my god. Sweating a little bit over here, mate. You know what I mean? Okay, that was a really bad accent, sorry. That was a really bad version of my Scouse accent, which I'm not really very good at. Okay. Anyway, so then she calls me, she's like, Imogen. She's crying. And I'm trying to console her, and she says, I'm pregnant. And I was like, what? And at the time, she had a boyfriend. She was going out for that boy for about a year. She liked that boy for a long time. She liked him even when we were friends. And now they were finally together. I bet she was buzzing. But she was young. We were young. And she is not the most maternal person in the world. She would never have wanted a kid. She used to always say to me, like, you love children and I just don't see myself ever having a kid. So she's crying her eyes out and I'm like, okay, well, calm down. I was like, are you going to go with your boyfriend? Like, what? I was like, what are you going to do about it? Like, chill out, like, you're drunk, that's why you're calling me and you're worried. And she's like, I've got no one to speak to about it. I can't speak to my mum about it. I can't speak to him about it because I don't know what he's going to say. And she's like, I've got no one to speak to about it. And I was like, okay, well, let's see what you want to do. Like, why don't, I mean, this is me being, Imogen, I do worry about you sometimes, I really do. My parents made me so, like, I cry about everything. I'm so emotional, it's a joke. Honestly, my heart, sometimes I do worry about it. Like, I just carry pain for people, and I'm just an empath and I feel deeply for other people, and I put myself in their situation even if I could never understand it. I try to. So then I said to her, listen, I'm going to come get you. She was on the beach, right? And this is at like, oh, God knows now. We'd spoken on the phone for about an hour. So this is near to 5 o'clock in the morning. And I had work the next day at 11 o'clock at Primark, Love and Life. Primark, woo, woo, woo. But I went to see her. So I picked her up in a taxi and I took her back to her house. I took her back to her house and I sat in her house with her, and we sat in her downstairs, sort of, she had like a bedroom and a living room, and we sat down there and we spoke. And we spoke until it was like 9 o'clock and I was like, I have to leave because I have to go home, get changed and go to work. And we spoke and I cuddled her and we cried, and she didn't really speak about us. I mean, I brought it up, but she just sort of listened. I just threw everything. I threw everything. Honestly, that was my closure. That was my closure. I threw everything. Not in a shouting way, because obviously I didn't want to wake her parents, her mum, but I threw everything. I said, you destroyed my trust. You broke my heart. You did this. You came to my house. You did all this. I went through everything. Everything and more. I listed it. And maybe it was the wrong time, but because of what she'd gone through, but we were talking about everything and it just felt right. And I feel a bit, sorry, I feel so, yeah, it felt right. It felt right, and it was horrible. We just sort of cried and cuddled, and I never thought we'd become friends again, ever, and I didn't want that, but I thought that maybe she'd see me out and it'd be okay. And I wouldn't have to feel like everyone in Brighton hated me. Because that's how I felt. Because I went out and the girl who beat me up had a lot of friends and I was very intimidated. I was scared all the time. It was horrible. So I told her that I didn't agree with what she'd done to her boyfriend. I think that she should be honest, and honesty is the best policy. I don't know how honest you can be, but she was never going to be honest with him. She stayed with him for a long time after that, but it eventually came out because she told someone else, and it did eventually come out, and her boyfriend ended up leaving her, and he will never be friends with his friend again. So they, you know, a friendship of theirs was ruined through her. And just, yeah, it takes two to tango. So the boyfriend and the best friend, obviously the best friend did it as well. A lot of drama happened and she lost her boyfriend. I mean, it was sad because she needed me. Like, she needed me, and I don't regret being there for her. I just think to myself, I feel so sorry for you. And that was the best way for me. I felt sorry for her because I thought, clearly you don't have the friendship that we used to have with anyone, because you're still speaking to me and you're still needing me. So then I went to work that morning. I got no text or anything like that, and I didn't hear from her. I didn't hear from her for about 2 weeks. And again, maybe a thank you. Maybe a thank you. Sorry. That's all I wanted. I don't do things to have gratitude. I would never do that. Like, when I love someone, it's unconditionally. Like, I don't love someone with limits and think, you need to thank me for doing that for you. I do something because I love them. But I thought that she would have thanked me for staying up all night, picking her up, you know, looking after her, cuddling her. Just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So then I see her out 2 weeks later, and she's with her boyfriend, and she's also with my old friends and the girl who beat me up. I walk into the club, and the girl who beat me up, I walked into this club, and I had my makeup done. I was wearing this American Apparel halter neck dress, which I loved. No boobs, but the boobs were just chilling there. And she threw a drink on me. And my old best friend Laura just watched it happen. Did nothing. Didn't even look at me in pity, didn't even look at me to help, nothing. Acted as if, don't give a rubbish, don't give a shit. And obviously I had to go home. My lashes were falling off. She just threw a drink at me, straight in my face. I paid entry to get in that club and she just threw the drink at me. I'm absolutely shaking. Can you see? I'm actually shaking just talking about it. That was probably the last time I saw her for a while. And I ended up moving to Cardiff with my next boyfriend after me and my boyfriend broke up. Another story happened with the girl who beat me up, but that's another story time. I'll probably do that as a separate story time because it's probably not much to do with Laura. Then, so this was the last time I ever saw Laura. I moved to London. I was working on the door at a club in Mayfair, and I see Laura in the queue, and I saw her on the CCTV, and I had to double look, and I went outside and sort of peeked around the bouncer, and I was like, oh my God, and I had to hide round the corner, and I was shaking. I was shaking because it had been about 3 years at this point. Been about 3 years, I was shaking, maybe even longer. Oh, couldn't control it, couldn't contain it. I was like, it just made me feel so weird. And if I saw her now, I'd probably be the same, I don't know. Manager at the time, and I said, right, there's a girl in the queue. I really don't want to be there when she comes, but there's a high percentage that if she comes in here, I will be an emotional wreck. So he looked into the queue and he went up to talk to her sort of group, and he saw they were all completely off their face on cocaine. Completely off their face, to the point where she actually had cocaine all around her nose. I've never touched a drug, I've never tried a cigarette. That is the opposite of me, and I just thought, wow, that's your life now. That's your life, going out on a Thursday night, getting off your face on drugs. And I came out to the queue because I thought she's not even going to really recognise me, and I felt a bit more comfortable knowing that she wasn't drunk, because if she was drunk I know that she would have been sort of hysterical. But so I went out with my manager and the bouncer. She saw me and she starts shouting, that's my best friend, that's my best friend, that's Imogen, that's my best friend, Imogen, you're gonna get us in, Imogen, you're gonna get us in, Imogen, you're gonna get us in, yeah? That's all right, we're gonna get in because that's Imogen. She's my best friend. Imogen, how are you? Oh my God, come here, babe. Sorry. And honestly, this took every bit of strength in me. But I went up to her group, and I said, guys, I'm really sorry, but it's going to be a no from me tonight. You're too intoxicated, so you won't be coming in. I hope that you are so beyond proud of me, because it took 5 different attempts for me to go out there to even pluck up the courage to do that. But it was my time to say, you are not coming in this club. You are off your face on drugs, and I don't want you anywhere near. And that was my power. That was me abusing my power, maybe, or not, just asserting my authority. And it was my, okay, this is my middle finger up. Put them hands high, wave it in her face, tell her see you bye. I'm sorry, but I know it sounds silly, and I know I'm rejoicing, and I'm not being horrible, but that was my way of saying, go away. You destroyed a really big part of my childhood and my youth. Leave now. And I haven't seen her since. And that was that. And in a way, that was me gaining my strength back. Because don't get me wrong, I'm very strong now, and I don't stand for anything. If someone is treating me badly, I will not stand for it. I hope so anyway. I mean, I haven't been put in a trying or testing situation for a while. But I hope that I would never go for a friend like her again, or a relationship, anything abusive like that. But that was my way of saying, you lost. I don't win, but you lost. You lost me as a friend, and that's your loss. I didn't lose anything, because you're not a good person. And I've heard from mutual friends that that is her. She loves the party lifestyle. She lives that party lifestyle, and we are very different people, so it is the best thing that ever happened to me that we aren't friends. So that is that. That is the end of failed friendships. Oh, I feel emotionally drained, angels. I feel emotionally drained. But again, I want to thank you so much. If you like this video and this storytime series, please give this a massive thumbs up. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I will be so grateful if you join my family. I have a really in-depth storytime series, and I am now going to announce it. My next storytime series will be all about my experience with being bullied. So any of my angels which are going through that now, any of my angels which are having it, whether it's at school, whether it's in the workplace, whether you know someone that's been through it, you've got a sibling that's going through it, I have a very long, very gritty, very dramatic storytime series about my bullying experience. And there is a lot of things that happened. It takes drastic twists and turns. So if you want that storytime series to go ahead, then definitely give this a massive thumbs up, just so I know. But I want to film it anyway, because I want to raise awareness for bullying, just like I want to raise awareness for bad friendships, bad relationships. I also have my relationship storytimes coming soon as well, after I've done all of the bullying storytime series. So make sure you stay tuned for this storytime channel, because I feel like it's a massive series that I want to do on my channel. So yeah, and I just want you to all know that if you are going through something like an abusive or toxic relationship or a friendship, there are helplines, there are people you can talk to. I will link them all in the description below. Whether it's someone anonymous you just want to talk to, you can go to the doctor, you can talk to anyone, you can talk to someone, because you need to be able to vent. You need to be able to realise that it is not healthy and it's not right, and you deserve so much better. Yes, I just flicked my hair, but my angels deserve so much more, and I'm urging you to leave, to get out of it, because one day you will realise that you wasted time and energy on someone who doesn't deserve your time and energy. You are princesses, and I will love you forever, forever and ever and ever. Thank you for being my best friends. I'm losing my voice. I love you with all my heart, and until next time, I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna leave you. I love you so much.